Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Appreciate you guys stopping back and checking me out again. Excuse me, fellas. A little frog in my throat here, using some sandpaper and stuff. Well, guys, these are the 460 heads that you saw in the last segment. And if you remember, whoever's following me out there, you know what this is about. It's about home cleanup because of what I had said in the previous video, and that was how the shops can't guarantee to get them clean. Well, one shop. So I did it myself, and the guys that follow me regular know that. Excuse me, guys. But this is just a follow-up. I wanted to show you fellas what I wound up with. So if anybody wants to do this themselves, they'll see. All that's left, fellas, they don't look pretty, but it's just rust. The carbon, pretty much of it, and all the buildup stuff is actually gone. All I have is an old head left as far as that goes. It needs to be cleaned up, and that's what I'm doing now, guys. Started on this one here, and I'll turn it so you can see. Started cleaning that up a little bit, and that's why I made this video now, because I started to clean them up, and I said, you know, I kind of forgot that I promised on my last segment that I would show how they turned out with just the oven cleaner. And once again, fellas, I have good news and bad news, but the bad news isn't really bad. But what I got here, guys, is that I told you that I used the Easy Off, and that did one head, one can, and it was $4 around, $3.90, whatever. I don't want to get too technical here with the prices, but so guys, even if we had to buy 4 cans of this, how bad would that be to get the job done that you need it done? But much to my surprise, guys, is that this is dollar store, $1. And not that it's cheaper, it's that it worked actually better as far as being able to get it into the ports and stuff. The Easy Off foamed up more, which wasn't bad. They work about the same. Excuse me, fellas. But the other head cost me $1.50. I used 1 can and a half of another can. So, all said and done, I think that's a pretty good deal, guys, for what it cost me for to do these heads. What I wanted to show you, fellas, is this right here. I had a guy the other day, and he was kind of hounding me a little bit in a sarcastic way, but I still want to give people knowledge. He said how they didn't make an E7. Well, he said he didn't know they made an E7 460, but what was I talking about? And this is the E7 460 head, and if you can see, I'm trying to focus this in. The reason it's the E7 head is the first letter is E, and the second number is 7. So that actually means 1987, because Ford, they used the letter in the alphabets as the year. Like an E would be 80. One thing I don't really like about that is that some of your the 302 E7s went all the way into the 90s, and they still say E7s on them. So I think that's because they had a lot of them. So it didn't actually work out that way then. But back in the day, like a 60 would be a C, a 70 would be a D, and like the following number, like if you had like a D2, it'd be a 72. D3, 73, and on and on. I hope you guys understand what I'm talking about. But I just wanted to bring up your attention, guys. Some guys know all that. A lot of people don't, and the ones that don't like finding things like that out. It's nice to know, especially if you ever come across something in the junkyard, you kind of know how to do the numbers on it and find out what it is. But one of the other things, guys, I want to show you, it left a little residue, rust. Of course, you're going to have that with any time you hose something off. But all you got to do, guys, is hose it down a little bit with some WD. Let it soak in there. That's what I do. And then wipe it up after it sits on there for a few minutes. And that will bring that rust, the residue right out. So, like I said, a lot of guys know this kind of stuff. I try to just pass things on that we know about to people that don't. But guys, this is on my way to the porting now. This is where I start getting excited. The hard part, cleaning them up, I thought would be just that, a hard part, but it really wasn't. I put the oven cleaner on, let it set on there for about 45 minutes, half an hour. A couple of the times I put it on there, I let it sit and it foamed up, and then it took a while for the foam to go away. And that's what I waited for. I waited for the foam to die down and start breaking everything up. And then I'd use a little brush in spots. But as far as getting carried away with a lot of elbow grease, I didn't need it, fellas. This is what it did. And just think, guys, if I really wanted to, I could have used another can. If you really want to get technical, I mean, I could put a lot more on there and do them again. But what's left is really just the rust and stuff. And one thing I do want to show you guys is this here. It did leave a lot of rust, like I said, but this stuff's pitted. And actually, like around these plugs right here, this was actually casting that actually chipped away, not from the oven cleaner, just because it was all pitted and rusted. And I have some here, and I'm taking a hammer and a screwdriver to it and picking it off, because I don't want that flaking off later on. Like some of it, you have to kind of work out it, get it off. Where it was bad before, it was just, it was actually just peeling off, like chipping. Like, I don't know if you guys can see it or not. Like these areas here has these chips on it and stuff. But no big deal. It's just I don't want it on there. There's no sense having something pretty clean and then you're going to paint them and then have it chip off later. So I'm actually going over these with a sanding disc, wire wheel, and doing what I can to get them clean. And also, I don't know if anybody notices this. I have a pretty good idea. Some of these guys on here notice a lot of stuff. The bolts are broke off. So that's going to be, this is going to be the fun time getting these out. Because when they break off for a reason. It's not because somebody tries to force them out. Most of the time, even if you know what you're doing and know all the tricks of the trade, they break off. As a matter of fact, this engine here has less broke off than any 460 or 429 I ever saw. So I don't know if somebody had it apart before and already went through this, or if they pre-treated the stuff and used heat and took their time, or if they just got lucky. And sometimes that plays a part in it when you have luck. But anyway, guys, I just wanted to run this by you, like I said, because I promised I would. And like I said, for under $10, fellas. I mean, I don't know what you guys look for when you do something, but you know, like I said, all that's really there is the rust. As far as the metal goes, it was clean. Even all up in here, guys, the things that are important. I really didn't scrub the sides too much. I mean, I did hit a couple of them up in here and stuff. I used to brush a tiny bit, just a little bit, but not crazy, because these were actually on the side when I did them. So I believe this is the side here that was on the ground. So I kind of reached up underneath and sprayed it, and I laid it down and let it soak on there. So like I said, guys, it's not like I did a whole detail job on them. So this is what you come out with, fellas, if you want to try the oven cleaner. And I would think 5 cans would be enough, even for somebody that had some heads that were terrible, especially if you let it sit on there a little bit longer and you put a whole can on and just let it sit there. And like I said, it's always going to depend on how baked on the stuff is. That's a factor there. But guys, even if you had to spend $10 and buy 10 cans of that stuff, that's where are you going to beat that, you know? But anyway, guys, I just wanted to, like I said, keep my promise and run this by you. I started getting a little ahead of myself. I was like, wait a second, I didn't show them what the oven cleaner did. And then, hey, guys, it worked, you know? And you're like, well, how good did it work? And that's why I wanted to do this video here, to show you just what I came out with. But once again, guys, I'm going to show you in here. I hope the camera's picking it up. It is clean. So I'm happy with it. I mean, around the bolts and stuff, you're always going to have to get down in here with, well, let me show you easier here. Things like this here, you know. But like I said, I didn't leave it on too long, like a half hour, 45 minutes. Maybe the first one, an hour at the most, maybe. But anyway, guys, that's what you wind up with. So I'm going to finish cleaning them off best I can, and then I'll be going on to the porting, and I'll be sharing that with you guys too. All right, fellas, have a good night, and thanks for checking me out again. Take care, guys.